Today on the flat range, we have a brand new firearm here, the Sig Spear MCX 556 LT. And we also have a Sparky.
I'm here.
This is this little brother to the military's brand new Spear XM, whatever it is. I don't even know what the designation is for it because we're here on the flat range and we're going to be doing a once over of this firearm and we're going to be kind of giving our thoughts and opinions on it. But we're here to talk about whether or not, as everyday dudes, whether or not it's worth
the extra money
and buying it, whether or not it's worth it to pick up this platform, especially for everyday use and, you know, LARPing on the flat range like we're doing right now.
Let's do a little shooting.
Let's do a little shooting, a little bill drill.
All right. 5 or 6?
6.
6 is always better.
Yeah.
Shooter ready?
Shooter ready.
Stand by. That was definitely 7.
Was it?
Yep.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was definitely 7.
Dang it. I slept. First one's 0.77. Wow,
2-1.
I got 2 off in 1 second.
Shoot.
That's how it usually goes. Now, I do lose a point for accidentally shooting 7 of them.
We're gonna subtract. You get
but
one.
I have one hell of a group right there. Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one, wasn't it?
Man, I think you got him.
I did.
Some of these 5.56 is bigger than the other.
No. They're definitely all 5.56.
They're tumbling.
Yeah, they're tumbling. We're shooting at such far range. The bullet's already tumbling. Yeah, did pretty good.
Got him.
Yep, Sparky, your turn. So you got to beat 0.77, which I'm sure you will.
The shooter is ready.
Is shooter ready?
Shooter, do be ready. That was 5. What's the time though?
First shot is half a second. You only did 5. Second shot was 0.68, 0.82.
We might be disproving that theory right off the bat.
It'd been a miracle if you even hit that damn target at sub half a second. You got all 5 off in 1.13.
Do a booger picker, do be fast.
Okay, no, that was bullshit, but we'll still go look at it. Well, there's one right there, there's one right there, there's one right there.
Right there.
As suspected, Sparky shot all over the place. I'm all right. Okay. Yeah. Mozambique is what? 2 and 1.
2 to the chest, 2 center mass, 1 to the head.
Oh yeah. All right, Speedy Gonzalez.
That's me.
Ready?
Yep.
Wow. First shot 0.66. Second shot 0.87. Third shot 1.06.
It's not too shabby.
Yeah, 3 shots in a second. You think he's aiming, Hunter?
No, he's not aiming.
Well, man, okay, we'll put a new target up there. Whoa.
Okay.
Hating me because you ain't me. Shooter ready.
I just know your record for doing stuff like this.
Hey, record.
Unless you've been doing a lot of practice.
Record of beating them.
Okay, whatever.
Shooter ready. Gosh, you're slow.
Let me do that again, because I know I missed.
1 in the body and 2 to the head?
I think so.
Why were your second 2 faster than the first one?
I really think I did that one backwards. I think I shot the body. All right, let me do that again.
Do I get a redo?
No.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
0.83. Put 2 fresh targets out there. 1 be yours, 1 be mine, and you hate to beat you twice.
She feels a lot heavier. Hunter, Sparky, go grab your DB. Of course, this isn't the most lightest firearm in the world.
It's like 6.7 pounds right here.
Yeah.
So definitely lighter than that gun.
Is it? I'm gonna grab it. Yeah, it is. That's such a chonky front end on that thing. Well, I don't have any space. Yeah, such a chunky front end. But this is a traditional AR-15. This is the DB Obsidian with a Swamp Fox on it. Night Force. But this would be the comparable, I guess, offset. And there's definitely a lot of weight that's not in the back of the Sig that is in the back of something like this Diamondback right here.
It's a little evenly distributed weight.
We would like to give a big shout out to Basement Operator, our apparel company. Go to basementoperator.com. There you can find the build for this beautiful gun right here. and a bunch of other cool stuff like our apparel and other builds we do. Also, we're doing a cool little giveaway this summer. So if you would like, tag us in an Instagram post, me and Basement Operator, and tag us in your PPE, either on the job site, at the range, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, wherever you wear protection. Tag us in the photo and we will potentially send you out a Safety Third t-shirt free of charge. We'll just send it to you. We're picking random ones. Don't get butthurt if we don't pick you. It's nothing personal. But tag us in something, and
if you like it, you'll get something.
You'll like it. We'll get you a Safety Third t-shirt.
High vis.
For the boomers out there. All right, so let's do a quick overview of the Sig Spear LT real quick before we take it over to the table. Just like a little quick, and we'll start from butt and work our way up to the top, because we're a big fan of ass. So the Sparky's a boobs guy.
Plead the fifth.
The Sig,
it's a family show.
Yeah, whatever. The Sig Spear has a lot of interesting features, and the first one would definitely be the stock. And this is kind of one of the biggest, I guess, deviations.
Childproof.
It is childproof. One of the biggest deviations from,
just right.
like a traditional AR-15. There's no buffer system in the stock, which allows you to get a little creative with how you want to implement the stock feature on this. Now, we had mentioned previously at the beginning of the video that the gas system in this is very much like an AK-47. It's a piston system. So the way that is built and designed, no buffer tube. Well, they decided to go with a skeletonized, very minimalist stock on this rifle.
Extremely lightweight.
Extremely lightweight. This thing right here, weighs next to nothing. It does have a cheek riser right here, or a place for one. This one doesn't have the riser itself. It just has a plastic insert. And then it has a QD point, a place for a sling right there. We actually don't really like the stock. Kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. I don't like the ability you can't extend it or adjust it for your own personal.
The fact that there is no adjustment to it does suck. It is sturdy.
Yeah, we're not saying it's not sturdy.
It is sturdy, but going into a bigger issue is weight. And that's probably the main caveat, which we said the same thing about the Jackal, is the balance. It just doesn't feel well. It doesn't feel balanced. Now, it is sturdy.
And you noticed when we were doing our shooting, it didn't affect, like when we went from the normal AR to the other one, our times were pretty similar. I would say it wasn't like a drastic input change, but it is there. It is noticeable.
Yeah, it just in comfort of shooting it.
In the comfortability. So like, if you're a strong shooter and you can
muscle that guy around all day.
Manipulate weight enough, then it's not going to be that big of an impact. But I mean, I think this is like one of the big things that,
it'll probably be more noticeable transition between targets. Like so doing the Mozambique, going from low to high, like, you notice the weight in the movement, but also if you were to transition from target to target to target and be moving,
right,
that weight is going to be more noticeable and transitioning between targets with movement.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that the options are there. So like, I think a better stock option, maybe something like how the big Spear has a more, traditional style buffer, because the big Spear has a buffer tube. It doesn't have a buffer system.
Yes.
So you can still fold it over like you can with this one, but it allows you to add like M-lock stocks and stuff like that, to where you can customize it a little bit more. So if you wanted to run a CTR, or if you wanted to run a B5, the bigger Spear allows you to do that.
Those are ways to add some weight.
Yeah, and those are ways to add some weight. But maybe somebody's like, well, maybe I don't want to add any more weight because the front's already heavy enough.
Yeah, because adding weight to the rear of the firearm,
it balances it.
It balances it, but overall weight goes.
Overall weight does go up. So there's some trade-offs there. I think I personally would prefer something different in the back. Now, if you wanted to take this off, it would be really easy to. There's a Picatinny section piece here. So you just take this screw off right there. Maybe put, I don't know. Well, the strike wouldn't really be much different than this one.
No, but you could.
Some other conversion.
Yeah, you could change the stock.
So moving up from the stock, you have your receiver system. These are completely, even though they look very AR-15-like, they're completely different from an AR-15 receiver, and not compatible whatsoever with any AR-15 stuff.
You can't slap this thing on your PSA.
Yeah, you can't buy an upper for the Sig Spear and it work. So some of the notable features of the Spear are it does have a QD section built into it, which is really nice feature. It removes the need to have one at the end plate, but there's no end plate on this one. So, you know,
thus is why it's there.
Thus is why it's there. Completely ambidextrous, which is really nice. The ambidextrous features remind me a lot of the American Defense stuff. Really nice though.
I like these better though.
Yeah, because honestly, it's really easy to hit that. Really nice mag release. The mag release is huge on this thing. Ambidextrous safety selector. Actually just smacked it right there by accident. And then, you know, your beautiful FDE finish on your lower.
FDE.
Oh yeah. And then the trigger.
Trigger's great.
Yeah, so Sig really does a good job at having a really nice, crisp, clean trigger. There's a little bit of take up there at the very beginning.
Reset's pretty nice.
And then good audible reset. So if you're doing any, you know, I guess slower paced shots that you really need to hold your follow through on your shots, and you can really hear the reset because you know that's what long range people.
If that's what does it for you, you get it.
Oh, it does it for people. Don't you worry, Sparky.
So, and your charging handle's ambi.
Yeah, you do have an ambi charging handle, which is really nice. I would say I like Radian charging handles a little bit better, but
it's a little bigger than a Radian.
A little bit bigger. I wouldn't say it's
not miles bigger, but it is a little bit.
Moving on to the upper receiver. Here is kind of the, you know.
This where stuff starts getting funky.
It does start getting funky. So like we had mentioned about 100,000 different times, this is a piston upper receiver. So you can see the gas goes back into here, pushes the bolt back.
Pushes the piston, which pushes the bolt.
Yep, and then it goes back forward. It doesn't push anything back into the stock. Very similar to an AK-47. Or, you know, a Jackal, or all the other piston system firearms out there. So I mean, it's pretty standard. It's notably supposed to be more reliable.
It's supposed to be.
That's kind of the selling point to a piston system, is the reliability is supposed to be there over direct impingement, where a direct impingement can get gummed up and
real quick.
And
on a closed system like that, it's gonna it can. If you set enough rounds to it, it's gonna start having issues.
Yeah.
Or for someone who doesn't clean their weapons enough. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you stand there. If you don't clean it well enough, you could have some issues. But in this one, piston helps with that.
So you have a steel barrel. This one is a 16-inch barrel. A lot of the models out there are shorter barrels, 11.5s and stuff like that. They sell a bunch of pistol versions of this. This, we just opted for the rifle version because, you know, we didn't want to deal with anything. Rail system on it.
Beefy.
Very interesting rail system. Initially, looking at it, you'd think it is a monolithic rail system, but it's not. It actually breaks right here. So the rail comes up and meets at this portion and then breaks right here to where it's two parts. You know, I haven't had any issues with the rail moving on anything. You know, it is what it is. One of the things I like about having the rail extended a little bit further is that you can mount something further up on the, you know.
Got more real estate optics.
You got more real estate for your optics. Whereas like a traditional AR-15, typically you have the upper receiver where you know, are more comfortable mounting your optic or whatnot. And typically people shy away from mounting stuff to their rail system because optics wise, because rails have a tendency to rotate,
can work themselves loose
over a long time. That's not, of course, representative of all rail systems,
but
like the
typically.
But typically that's one of the reasons people don't do that. So having the ability to extend your optics placement out a little bit is really nice, to where it's still mated with the upper receiver, nice and, you know, clean. The rail system on this, what do you think about it, Sparky?
I like it. It's cut well enough for ventilation. You know, if you're shooting, you know, a lot of rounds, you know, you get all the cuts, so it's going to help with that. And also that helps mitigate some weight, even though might not feel like it.
Yeah.
Like all the M block is being cut out and all this extra ventilation cut out of it, it's going to save you some weight.
It does have a metric ton of M block,
which is nice because depending on your light you're running.
Yeah. So Hunter, come here.
Come on in,
Hunter. So you can see the M blocks pieces start back here and work their way up. You have ones on 45s, right, or kind of 45s. These are more 45s on the bottom. and then you have a section of M-LOK that runs the whole entire bottom.
You got a plethora of options.
Yeah, you got a ton of M-LOK options, which is really nice because it does cut down on weight. It does become advantageous to the mounter to be able to mount firearm or lights or lasers or whatever
Rails,
you
rail
want.
covers,
Yeah, anything you want.
Pressure pads, whatever you want.
It's just a nice feature to have.
Yeah.
So they took the route of, instead of let's placing something that looks kind of like M-LOK on these off pieces,
Let's just make it M-LOK.
let's just make it M-LOK. So that is a nice thing to have. And one of the benefits to, you know, this receiver set. Moving on, we've kind of already briefly talked about the barrel. It is a 16-inch barrel, but the gas system on it does have an adjustable gas block. So Hunter, come here. I want to show you how easy it is to adjust this gas block.
Protection's coming off.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
boy.
taking the protection off.
Safety third.
We have to up the dexterity. So all you have to do is twist it. And
That's all it normally takes.
that's all. Thanks, Sparky. But that's how you adjust the gas system on it. It's ran super fine. We've ran it primarily suppressed with the dead air. And then we also ran it a little bit with the air precision Lahar, not when you were here.
Yeah.
But
Cheating on me.
I know it. But it did shoot good. Moving on. Let's talk about the booger in the front, Sparky.
Oh, man.
So this barrel comes with a Sig muzzle brake on it.
Which will accept the Sig suppressor.
Yeah, that will accept the Sig suppressor. Unlucky for us, we don't have a Sig suppressor. We have stuff that takes key mount stuff. So, you know, one afternoon, me and Sparky were in the basement, and we were like, we got to swap that muzzle brake out. It did not want to go, did it?
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah,
Which
no, it is a good thing unless you want to run a different suppressor on it than the Sig suppressor. It was on there.
It took a little heat, a bigger wrench, and a vise, and she came off eventually.
At the beginning, we were flipping the desk on, or the table that the vise was on. But she did eventually come off, and we were able to mount our suppressor on it. With all that being said, you know, at the very beginning, and you know, if you watch T-Rex Arms video on this back when it was getting hot and popular, they had a lot of issues with the barrel bending and not coming back into place. I will say that we most definitely did everything in our power to bend the barrel when taking off that suppressor. It was going every which way, and it has very well returned to
where it's supposed to be.
To where it's supposed to be. I mean, we were putting some serious torque on it.
He works out. You can't tell.
So I don't think that's an issue any longer with the Sig Spear, or at least not the one we have.
At least from what we can tell.
Yeah, from what we can tell. I mean, we did put some pressure on it, so it was tested inadvertently.
Yeah, actually, kind of, sort of, not really.
Yeah, but it was bent, or it was being pushed and pulled in either direction. So ultimately, I think that's the biggest general overview of this firearm. Sparky, do you have anything to add? I think we hit all the high points, honestly.
I think you pretty much kind of sort of got it all.
So price point on this thing is not cheap. And we'll kind of talk about it a little bit more when we go over there and compare it. But $2,500 gets you the build right here. Or not the build.
Get you the rifle.
Get you the rifle. Sorry. $2,500 gets you the rifle, which is really expensive if you think about it.
But it's a Sig.
It is a Sig, but $2,500 is a lot. You pay $2,500 for like an ADM or something like that. Or a Daniel's Defense, or Daniel Defense.
Yeah, easy killer.
I'm Southern, I add S's to things. So let's take it over to the table. We got some guns here that I think are comparable, that we should compare it to and to talk a little bit about. So let's head on over here. Let's talk about the build out of this thing a little bit, Sparky, and then we'll compare it to some other notable firearms that we have. Similar firearms. To kind of give a reference point for all of this, because I think that's important. When you're talking about something as unique as the Sig Spear, having a good reference point. We were running a Night Force NX8 on it, so this is their cheaper version Night Force. I think it was like $1,500 or something. It's not the crazy Night Force. It's the poor man's Night Force, and it's paired with an American Defense mount, which is beautiful. Love the American Defense quick detach mounts. I mean, we have the quick detach for a bunch of Hollow Suns and other stuff. So we've been a real big fan of it, and we really like American Defense stuff. So if you want to pick that up, you can use code Delp. Moving on from that, we have a light up here. This is a Surefire tail switch, an Arasaka body. And like extender, and then the HRT Tactical light head. All in all, this is probably about $300 some light, because it was piece milled together. We really like that setup. HRT did a good job on the light head. Arasaka makes really great stuff. You know, I'm a big fan of their offset things. So overall, that's the light setup. Oh, and most importantly, the Strike Industries cable management system that comes in at $15.
The only thing on this thing is wallet friendly would be
is the Strike Industries cable management system. And then, you know, pairing it, we have the Dead RK. This has been recently modified to have the 556 flash suppression device on the front of it. Does it work any differently? A little bit. Mediocrely. Is it worth the extra $50? Get a different
results
suppressor.
pending.
So that's kind of how we have it set up. Very much minimalist. We didn't really run any hand stops or anything crazy on it.
Trying to save a little bit of weight.
Trying to save a little bit of weight, and I think this setup works fairly decent.
I mean, it's a battle rifle.
Yeah.
So you don't need a bunch of bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Hey, watch the term battle rifle.
Well,
somebody might say that it's not a 308, so you can't call it battle rifle.
He's got a good point.
All right, so anyway, so that's the general gist of it. Would I change anything about it? Probably. I think I would want to change the stock moving forward from it. Where this is a dedicated review, we didn't go ahead and modify that or anything. And how you see this build out on the website will be how it is ran like this. For slings, Edgar Sherman sling, we don't have it on the table right now. I think it's on a different gun, but that's how we like to run it. Then you have to install a QD point on the front.
Yeah, somewhere on here.
Yeah, because for some reason, they did everything else but put a QD point on the front. So that's kind of how I would have it set up. The only thing I would change would be the stock. For a total price, you're looking at $2,500 for the gun. Sparky, keep up with this.
$2,500.
$300 for the mount.
$28.
$1,500 for the scope.
42, 43. Yeah, 43.
43, and another $300 for the light.
46.
$800 for the suppressor.
54.
Wow, $5,400 build. That's insane. Let's say you do $80 for the sling and all the taxes and stuff. So about $5,500. Oh, and the $15 for the strike plate. You're about $5,500 if I had to guess for this thing, which is a very pricey build. Very pricey.
Ego stroker.
Oh yeah, this will automatically make you better at the range because you'll feel bougie.
Clearly,
obviously.
In case we've proved one thing, it does that.
Yeah, spending more money helps your shooting. All right, so let's compare this to other notable builds that we have, or I say notable, other comparable builds. So Sparky, let's start with the 5.56 AR-15, the most not controversial, but it would be the comparable
this is the
option.
AR-15 killer, supposedly, right?
Yeah, supposedly, since the military switching to its big brother. So why would you get this over that, or would you ever get this over that? For $2,500, you can get one hell
of an
AR-15.
I mean, this is an Obsidian coming in, a Diamondback, maybe 15 Obsidian. It's coming right in like $1,100, $1,200 ish. So I mean, bang for buck, I'm probably gonna steer this way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything that's on this gun don't add up to the price of that.
That's very true, and I don't feel like you get enough performance out of the Sig Spear,
the platform,
the platform itself, to justify going something like
It's not life-changing enough.
Now, if you're looking already at $2,500, $3,000 guns,
that's different.
Yeah. So what about something like the ADM versus the Sig Spear? What's your opinion on that? Because that's where I think this starts to become a harder topic.
Yeah, I mean, because ADM with it being standard AR-15, it's better balanced, obviously. With a buffer tube and buffer tube weights, all that kind of stuff. Like the standard AR-15 is going to be better balanced, but we're comparing apples to oranges to a degree. But
it's mainly gas system changes and how you want to deal with that. Also, one thing we forgot to mention is that these barrels you can buy interchangeable. So like you just take this off and you can do a fast swap on a barrel for one of these guns.
That is nice.
We forgot to mention that over there. So that is one of the benefits to the SIG system.
Because it can be kind of a bear on your AR, it can be. Depending on your knowledge, depending on what you can and can't do.
And how hard your barrel nut is on.
That's a good point.
So ultimately, ADM or DD versus Spear. Still going AR?
That's hard. I mean, I'm gonna lean towards AR just because I'm more familiar. I mean,
Yeah.
they're similar. So
Right.
It's not like you're relearning the platform because the controls
this
are
is
the
very
same.
AR-like.
The controls are essentially the same. But I mean, the benefit of the piston, sure. Does that make a difference to the everyday shooter? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I would tend to agree. Is it nice? Is it niche? Yes. If you're looking for something different,
This
yes.
is the future.
Yeah, well, it's inevitably the future.
Now it's the present.
Yeah, now it's the present. There's no other option. I still can't believe the military did what they did.
What do we know?
What do we know? But I still think, I remember shooting a big spear at the gathering. The sucker's huge.
Yeah.
And to make it an everyday weapon.
Squad. Yeah.
I digress. I have no say in any of that, so it's whatever.
Just because it's government issue doesn't mean it's the best.
There you go.
Uncle Sam has to deal with a budget.
So I would say I probably would prefer an ADM over this. Just
traditional AR platform.
Just the traditional AR platform. This is, like I said, niche and really nice. And if you already have your nicer AR-15 and you're looking for something a little bit different, by all means. But
so like I said, it kind of rounds up the collection. I will say, if you're going to shoot this thing if you're going to shoot mainly suppressed, and you're going between suppressors, which not everybody
having the one-click adjustable gas block.
Yes, that is one thing that I'd say stands out above everything else.
Is the quick.
Is being able to quickly adjust your gas block. If you're going between suppressors or going between ammunition types, that is nice.
Yeah, I will agree. You're 100% right. When we got this, we didn't really think too much about it. And then we got to looking at the guns on the wall. There is a gun that we have that is very similar.
Very similar.
Sparky, go ahead and pull this bad boy out. This is the infamous PSA Jackal.
Oh, I was looking for this guy.
No. This is, when we actually got the PSA Jackal on the channel, we noted it as maybe
poor man's scar?
A poor man's ACR. But after looking at it, it looks an awful lot like the Sig. So there are some notable differences. The biggest being what Sparky just did.
I just whiffed, yeah.
Yeah, it was, you did like that meme where, they're like shooting and the guy tries to AK rack it. Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, where's it at?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about lunch.
Yeah. This is the biggest difference, is having the charging handle up on it. But in terms of, having the heavy weighted upper receiver, the piston system, I think the folding stock, they share a lot of the same benefits and detriments.
Mm-hmm.
We noted that when you got the Jackal, it was very heavy in the front, very similar to how this is. Now, the front end on this one feels a little bit lighter, but the cuts, there are also a lot more cuts on that one. And there's also a lot more rail on this one, because you see you have your rail sticking out a little bit further on the...
But you got less M-lock.
Yeah. Well, this one you have less M-lock.
That's what I'm saying. This has less M-lock.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a poor man's spear, honestly, I don't think it would be that absurd to say that the Jackal might fill that role for you for $1,000 rather than $2,500. I mean, they look pretty similar. PSA is starting to issue Jackals with the skeletonized stocks on them. Almost half tempted to see how, to get one and just to see how similar we can make it look. Because right now it has that SCAR-esque, that ACR-esque stock on it, whereas that one has, the skeletonized stock on it.
One thing you're missing right off the bat is the full ambi controls.
That's true, but also you cut $1,000, $1,500 price point. You do have the open adjustment system, but it's not as simple as the Sigs. Yeah. So where the Sig, you can just bounce between the two. This one, you have a bunch of different clicks to adjust whether or not you're wanting to shoot suppressed or unsuppressed. So
there's a little bit more of a learning curve with that one.
Yeah, a little bit more of a learning curve with it, but
a little more complicated.
But I think the generalistness of the platforms are the same.
Very similar.
You also have your charging handle here on the side, whereas you have a traditional 5.56 or AR-15 style charging handle on the Sig Spear. But we did want to bring that up because we did think it was notable and useful and a selling point. Like, hey, if you're looking for a cheaper version of the Spear, maybe you look at the Jackal, which the Jackal build is on our website. So go check it out. And we're a big fan of the Jackal, even though it is heavier and shit. So I guess the big question is who is this for? And I think it's pretty apparent through our opinions and stuff. This is, I would say, not really for your average everyday Joe.
This is not a first-time buyer.
Yeah,
firearm, I would say.
I think this is after you already have a lot going on and maybe you want it, or you know, your end user, somebody that's like military applications.
For sure. It's if you want something you can beat up and not worry about it, and you're okay with the weight, go for it.
But like for your everyday homie, now when we say military application, you can have whatever you want. I'm a firm believer in, you know, abolishing all the NFA crap, right? Yeah. But is it like a hard use gun? Yes. Like it's meant for people to be using it every single day, for people to be shooting it a lot, for people to be not cleaning it and then cleaning it once when they have a chance to, and then, you know, it's not designed for your everyday shooter, and it's definitely not priced for your everyday shooter, especially a lot of people that, you know, are looking to ball on a budget. $2,500 is a lot of money for a gun.
Especially if you're only buying one-ish, you know, I'd say if most guys buy a gun a year, they're doing pretty good.
Right. So I definitely think this is not for everybody. It's definitely something to have if you want it, because I mean, it does look cool.
Oh yeah.
It's nifty. It'll be looking real good on the basement wall.
And that's the thing. It kind of rounds out the collection.
It is one of those things that a checkbox gun. You know, it's one of those. It's like buying like something like a Vector or an MP5. Like,
I mean, just, you know,
like, are there better options out there like an AKV from Palmetto State?
But you could argue those are more. At least the MP5, pop culture plays in the reason.
Well, I mean, I would say the same thing here.
Just because of the military application?
Well, because Call of Duty, pop culture.
Oh, okay.
True. I mean, you know, you're hitting that mark on a lot of guns.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to have. It's something to talk about. But in all practicality, is it better than owning an AR-15?
Not for the price, I would say.
Not for the price, probably. So.
At least for your everyday Joe.
Right, for your everyday Joe, probably not.
After spending all that money. Was it worth it?
I think it was worth it to find out.
You're paid for your education.
Yeah, I paid for my education. The only reason, so we didn't get this gun sent to us. We didn't get the optic sent to us. We actually pulled this stuff off a different optic or a different setup. I think that, you know, it was good to invest in it. Good to find out whether or not, you know, the firearm is worth the damn. I mean, it is worth, you know.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the gun's gonna go.
But, you know, I was expecting I don't know if I was expecting a ton more for $2,500, but I was expecting there to be, you know, it feel very comparable to an AR-15 and, you know, hold the benefits of the Sig, right? So of having the collapsible stock. I was expecting it to weigh a little bit less than what it does. I think it's only like a pound and something more than an AR-15, supposedly. But I mean, if you're talking an AR-15 weighing 6 pounds, this weighs 7 some pounds.
That's.
I mean, I'm not good with fractions.
17% more.
Yeah, 17% more. So that's a little bit more. So, I mean, I think it was beneficial, but I don't necessarily think that I will buy a second Sig Spear if that's what you're asking.
I will say I wasn't necessarily disappointed because this thing surpassed as far as function-wise. It did what I expected it to do. It worked every time. Modularity of the, you know, if you're familiar with the AR platform, its modularity is there in that sense if you're already used to the controls. So I was not disappointed at all, but there was nothing about it I was like, oh man,
insane.
Gotta get me one of these. I'm gonna tell everybody to go out, run out to your gun store and try to buy this thing.
Right, and it's a miracle that it flies off the shelf as quick as it did. I guess it's the reliability aspect of it that people really shoot
people
for.
Are like, oh, okay, military's using it. It's gotta be the best. I'm buying it.
Yeah, or a rendition of it.
Yeah.
Like, we know this is not.
We know this is not the one the military is using now.
It's close.
But it's very close.
Yeah, just up a chambering. So to conclude all of that, with $55,000 some spent, you know, hours
I won't get back.
I won't get back. Hunter's hating his life right now since this is like a 30 or 40-minute video.
My everything's sweating sitting here.
Sparky's hungry. It's hot.
Thirsty.
You're welcome. Please go buy some merch because we have to make up the loss on this thing. And we will see you guys on the next one. As always, take someone outdoors. Peace. We appreciate you. Go tear me up in the comments.
Him, not me. Bye. You can stop watching now.